Welcome, everyone, to today's podcast episode. You're listening to the Home Design Podcast. My name is Adam Case, your host, and we aim to educate, inspire, and connect South Florida with the industry authorities within their trade. Today, we're discussing all surface solutions, especially refinishing versus replacing bathtubs, all with Jaime Gladhill of Miracle Method of Miami North. All right, Jaime. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. We're excited to get into this because when you go into remodeling, designing homes, it's all overwhelming. We all know it all too much, producing the home shows, all these different products, services, everything. You've been a part of the home show for quite some time now. But before we get into the business, who's Jaime?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
Let's start there. Who is Jaime? That might be the most difficult question of the day.
That probably is. Jaime herself is always kind of outside of the box.
All right.
You never know what's going to come out of my mouth or if I'm going to break out in a random dance move. Prior to becoming involved with Miracle Method, I was a probation and parole officer for the state of Maryland and for the federal government. I worked with sex offenders and gang members, and then I went into the investigative piece of it. So I was doing pre-sentence investigations, basically recommending to the court, hey, I think that this person should go to prison for this long, or
right.
Hey, I think that he should come out and give him a chance in the community. So as I was doing that, I met my husband, Ryan, and as we were dating, he's telling me about this world of refinishing, and I'm like, what is that?
It's a little bit different from your past career.
It is. And I'm like, what is that? So then, I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. And then around 2007, I kind of came in and did some moonlighting for him, doing a lot of HR policies, trying to learn more about refinishing. And then when COVID hit, we kind of reevaluated everything and said, we kind of want to move out of Maryland, come down to Florida, and I think we should go into business together. And I said, are you crazy?
Yeah.
When you've been in a field for, 12, 13 years, making that transition is a little hard, but it's been very exciting. And a lot of my skills actually have translated into refinishing. Obviously, not the technical piece, but
right.
Details, when you're writing a quote or things to look for and make sure they're in the notes to set the technician up for success.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing when it comes to business. Like the details matter. Mm-hmm. And also, that comes down to the perfection of what you guys are doing internally when you're refinishing and helping people with their surfaces and bathtubs, because you want to make sure that ultimately you're delivering the best product.
Absolutely. And it's funny with the details, we'll go into a customer's home and okay, we're going to repair and refinish your bathtub. Well, it doesn't need any repairs. Yes, it does. We pull out our flashlight and we get up really close and you see that, chip there or that little hairline crack there. That's something that we're going to repair in our preparation process. So it's funny how different eyes pick up, different things.
Absolutely. In Miracle Method, it is a franchise.
It is a franchise. So each franchise is independently owned and operated. As a whole, Miracle Method has been around since 1979, and we have over...
That says a lot about the brand.
It does say a lot about the brand. We are the largest refinisher, kitchen and bath refinisher in the country. There's over 100 franchises. My husband and I have 6.
Oh, wow.
So we opened our doors in 2007 in the state of Maryland, and then we proceeded to open the doors in Charleston. We actually purchased that from Ryan's family.
Okay.
His mom and dad had owned it.
Oh, so they were in the business.
They were in the business.
So he's been in the business for a long time.
He's been in the business for a long time. His family opened up a Miracle Method on Cape Cod.
Oh, wow.
So he was really intrigued by that. He was in the construction field, and he said, you know what, I think I want to try this. So what he did, he left Maryland, went and worked for his parents for a year, really learned the Miracle Method craft, honed his skills, and then came back to Maryland, opened up his doors, and he has been rocking and rolling since.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. So then when his family moved from Cape Cod to Charleston, they were in the business for a little while longer, then kind of wanted to take a step back. So he purchased that. His mom and dad stayed on and worked for him. After that, he moved on to Philadelphia, and then we moved on together to Miami, not long after DC, and not long after that, Fairfield, Connecticut.
And that's challenging because, running a business from far, making sure that you have the right team, the right people, everything in place to be able to manage it from here or be able to make sure that they're doing the right thing. So, what is that like, as far as being able to manage all of these different areas?
It is like playing a game of chess. We are very fortunate that in our Maryland location, our two managers have been with Ryan pretty much since the beginning.
Right.
And they are somebody that we can rely on. And we know if they're coming to us with something, there's something really wrong because they're able to handle everything. We're also fortunate in Philadelphia that my brother-in-law runs that location.
All in the family.
It is a family business. My
That's
sister-in-law now works with us. She was an athletic trainer,
Okay.
but was kind of getting, sick of the everyday and decided, I'm not sure what I want to do. And we said, you know what? Come and work for us. So she lives in Charleston. She helps in the office. So she's remote.
Right.
So phones and customer service piece of it she's been helping us out with, and some spreadsheets. So we really have kept it in the family. As far as opening up Miami, we did a really good job of staying put here for a year.
Right. Okay.
And really, we have a fantastic lead technician and a fantastic office manager who you will see at the home show, Ashley and Phil. Okay. So we are able to rely on them, and we do a lot of tag teaming. So Ryan and I are like two ships passing in the night sometimes. He's currently been away for 2 weeks.
Right.
He had a relationship with a former commercial customer that went on to work with Amtrak.
Okay.
And through that relationship that he cultivated, was able to bring a deal to our national network.
Oh, wow.
So we now have a partnership with Amtrak. And
Wow.
our location specifically has done the Jacksonville location, Birmingham, Alabama, Alexandria, Virginia, Springfield, Massachusetts, where he's currently at. So he goes and does a lot of project management. So he's been away for the past 2 weeks. I've been holding down the fort here and everywhere else. He comes home Friday. I leave Monday to
Wow.
go check on our DC location. So it really takes a very strong person to, be able to kind of live this lifestyle. But, it works for us, and we just have great teams that we're able to rely on.
That's amazing. And just a little plug to your Charleston location. So I don't know if you know, but our celebrity for this show, do you know?
From Southern Charm.
Absolutely. Craig Conover from Charleston coming to Fort Lauderdale.
I'm excited.
Yeah, there you go. We were talking about, reality TV before.
Yeah, look, we're going to have the shop talk, and then we're going to have the shop talk.
There you go. Right.
I'm excited.
There you go. So I want to kind of dive in because, our listeners right now, obviously we're talking about bathtubs. We're talking about refinishing. We're talking about pros and cons, replace or refinish, but it goes beyond the bathtub. We're talking about all different types of surfaces. So I kind of want to dive into what surfaces can actually be refinished.
Sure. So obviously your bathtub, fiberglass, acrylic, cast iron can be refinished. If you've got walls around that tub that are dated, you don't like the color, maybe they're hard to clean, those grout lines, let's be real. We take a lot of time on Saturday cleaning those grout lines.
Yeah.
We can refinish that tile as well on the walls, on the floor, countertops in the kitchen and in the bathrooms. We can also do sinks. If you've got a leaky shower pan and a plumber can't help you, give us a call.
Okay.
We can repair that. For you. What we do is drill holes into the tub, and then we put in a foam that will then build up that bathtub.
Okay.
And then we can refinish over that area.
Amazing. Because a lot of people don't realize that is possible because, someone assumes they have a problem with the bathtub itself and they think I have to replace it. There's no other solution, but you can avoid the permits. You can avoid all of the headaches. Once you open up walls, there's only headaches behind.
Exactly. And that's a lot. We try to do our best in educating our consumers when they call in and talk about bathtub refinishing. And then, sometimes they'll say, well, I can just replace it. And, we really do try to say,
right.
Yes, you can. But when you're doing your fact finding, don't forget to consider what you're going to uncover when you remove the tub. Once you're removing the tub, you could be damaging walls, getting the old tub out, bringing the new tub in addition to the labor. So don't just look at the cost of what that tub is. And also with the refinishing, you're going to be able to use that bathroom again much faster as opposed to if you do removal and replacement.
It is a quick process. And I just wanted to go back to the walls that you mentioned before as far as refinishing these, because, when people think about refinishing the walls, they're like, what will it look like? Are you able to eliminate the grout lines where you're able to fill them so it looks like a smooth surface, or will it all look the same?
So you're going to see the grout lines, but with the refinishing, it encapsulates it.
Okay.
So you're not going to feel, how grout lines are rough.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel rough. You're going to feel more smooth. So then it's going to be easier to clean and maintain.
Absolutely. And it'll add more life to it because a lot of times people, They don't want to change the layout. They just want to change the color. They want to change the feel of the entire environment. And that's a great solution.
Exactly. Especially too, we've come into a lot of instances here in Florida specifically where you have what I like to say, the Golden Girls bathroom, the yellows, the blues, the pinks.
You don't like that?
I'm not going to lie. I did just go to the Golden Girls experience in Chicago, the Golden Girls kitchen. So
okay.
Yes, I do, because I'm a fan of the show. But, that's not everybody's style. So tile itself is in great shape. The tub itself is in great shape. They just don't like the color.
Right.
We can fix that for you in a matter of 1 to 2 days.
And it can be any color?
It can be any color. We offer solids, so 3 shades of white.
Okay.
We also offer a natural accents line.
Okay.
So that gives it a stone look appearance.
Oh, wow.
And we have over 20 different colors to choose from. And then what I think is really cool is that we can color match any Sherwin-Williams color.
That's amazing.
So you go to Sherwin-Williams, you pick that swatch, and then we send it to our coating manufacturer to make.
Yeah. And I mean, just the fact that you guys have the stone collection, that's something that, I didn't know. That's a great point, because a lot of people, they might want to have like that natural element, having just a completely different feel to the, other than color, having it will give it kind of like that texturized look and different finish there. Are there different finishes in the sense of like high gloss, matte, textured, things like that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we have a semi-gloss and a matte. Also, as far as texture is concerned, if you're looking in your bathtub to have a non-slip surface, that we can do that. We apply it in our top coat and it gets rolled on. So it gives you that.
Perfect for seniors.
It is perfect for seniors. It's perfect for anybody. Let's face it. We're all aging in place. So it's perfect for anybody. We don't recommend bath mats with suction cups.
Okay.
Because the suction cups can cause the coatings to lift from the surface. So if anybody is a fan of bath mats, we would recommend one that's flat, and then you just pick it up after each use and make sure that you're wiping the bottom of the tub. But for those that don't want that, the non-slip is a great solution.
No, it's amazing, because I'm just thinking about myself. I have little kids. You put them in a bathtub, if they're taking a shower or anything, they're slipping all over the place and they think it's a game, but
Absolutely. And honestly, I just had it done in my parents' house as well as grab bars. We install grab bars too.
Okay.
So I've been kind of going in and making adjustments to them that they didn't know that they needed.
Right. No, absolutely. And the other thing is, say if you bought a home that somebody did a poor job of refinishing a bathtub before, can they be refinished again?
100%. So what we would do is we would come in and we would remove that existing finish that's currently on the tub, the tiles, the countertop, because we can redo anything that's been refinished before.
And it still doesn't matter what the surface of the tub is?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
We're going to remove that existing finish. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking that bathtub back to its original state and we're working with a blank canvas.
Okay.
Once it's back to its original state, we can then begin our process of refinishing. So it can be done.
Okay.
Just because it was done once doesn't mean it can't be done again. Great thing too, if you're selling your house, and a lot of realtors will promote refinishing, especially when you're thinking about the time of, okay, I'm under contract, but these repairs need to be done and we need to close on this date. Refinishing is a great option, and our warranty is transferable to the new owner.
Okay. That's a great point, because I feel like a lot of things, especially for the home, like that's companies' way out of having any type of warranty.
Right. So it's absolutely transferable.
Okay. Very good. And, there's a lot of people that are listening to this that, they have the DIY mind. They're thinking it might be an easy project. Let's kind of touch on that, because when it comes to, there's a reason why I hire professionals, first of all, but there are those people that are handy enough. But is this a DIY project as well, or what's your recommendation?
So I kind of go
You probably have seen nightmares.
Yes, and I kind of go by the saying, if it's too good to be true, it might. Yeah. So do it yourself is an option. However, you don't know the quality of, the finish that you're going to be getting. And then more importantly, the time that you're going to take out of your schedule to do it yourself. You could be doing, something else that you enjoy.
Absolutely.
So you're taking your time, you're buying something that you don't know, what kind of chemicals they are, paint that's being used. And then when it doesn't maybe meet your expectations, you're spending more money to have somebody else come out and do it.
And that's the thing. That's like a common trend. Usually when you try to do something yourself, especially if you haven't done it before, it's going to end up costing you more. I mean, how many times are you going to refinish your bathtub? It's not like, oh, this would be something great to know how to do because I'm going to keep refinishing my bathtub.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I always just recommend, you're better off having the professional to come in and do it. It's going to save you time and money in the long run.
Absolutely. And when talking about, the product, I mean, you spoke about the quality of the product and everything that goes into it. What should people know as far as, when they are talking to other professionals, if they decide, you know what, I want to refinish, whether we're talking countertops, walls, bathtub, what should they know about the product itself that's really important?
Absolutely. So the product, we use a polyurethane acrylic coating.
Okay.
It is very similar to what is used in the auto body industry. We stay on top of the advancements in the refinishing field. So these are low VOC water-based coatings. A lot of companies may use an epoxy that's an outdated process. It's not as durable. So all of the processes that we use in a residential setting, we use in commercial settings. So we do a lot of commercial work, as I mentioned earlier, with Amtrak. We do colleges, hospitals, hotels, and the coatings that we use are durable to sustain in those heavy trafficked areas. And that's the same thing we're using in residential homes.
And for these commercial applications, because there's people that are listening that might own buildings, facilities, things like that, what type of surfaces are you guys refinishing there?
We are doing the same thing. We're doing tile floors in airports. We also do bathroom partitions, the vanity tops, the sinks, the tile walls. In hospitals, we're doing the showers. If it can be refinished, we can do it.
And this is probably a great product for restaurants.
It is
for the kitchen area.
It is a great product for restaurants. And it's great going back to the coating. Hospitals use it. So we use that water-based coating because of the situation that you're in a hospital. That is also being used in residential. So it's environmentally friendly. It's friendly to us. So we're very mindful of that.
Yeah, no, that's important because, like we went back before, when we were talking about refinishing versus replacing and the pros and the cons and everything that goes into really improving a home, there's a lot to consider. I feel like most people, when they want to change something, they're immediately like, okay, I need to get into demolition. I got to select new product. I get it into the installation. But this is a great solution that really, do you find people surprised when they're speaking with you or discover you, say, at a home show, because they're not necessarily, they might not be looking for you, but then they discover you and they're like, you know what, this is what I'm missing. This is what I should have done. Do you get that a lot?
Every day. Every day I get that.
You're like a superhero.
That is my superpower.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's very common that we hear that. I just spoke to a customer in our DC location yesterday that had refinishing done, and I can't tell you how many times she said, I just regret this decision. I can't believe I did this, and I can't believe I'm on the phone talking to you again about it. And I was on the phone with her for 15 minutes and began explaining our process and how we do things, and by the end of the conversation, we had an estimate scheduled. So based off our conversation of how detailed we are in the preparation.
Well, what is that process?
So what we do is when we come into the home, we will mask off any area that we're not refinishing to protect those surfaces. Once we do that, we're then going to do a 2-step cleaning process on the surface. It's going to eliminate any soap scum or mineral deposits that might be present. Then we're going to go into the repairs. As I mentioned before, if we see any small chips or cracks, we're going to address that.
And not to stop you, what does that repair look like? Like, what are you doing to repair it? Are you just filling it, or?
So we can fill it, sand it down, fill it. There's also with tile, we don't do tile work per se, but if there's like 2 missing tiles, we can replace that with tile that's the same size. It doesn't matter the color because we're going to refinish over it.
Okay.
So that would be an example of a repair. Or if somebody had removed their shower door or grab bars or a towel bar, we'll fill in those holes prior to beginning our process. So those are all things that we can do and address for the customer.
Or if someone had a jacuzzi and they just maybe it doesn't work anymore or something like that.
So jacuzzis, we can refinish those, but
like a jacuzzi bathtub, like, if it has the holes and all the jets and they want to get rid of them.
We can do that. We actually did a similar project at the Sagamore.
Okay.
I think it was in this last fall.
Okay.
It was around November. So yes, we did actually do a commercial project for that hotel. So that is absolutely possible. There's not a lot of things that we say no to. We can figure out ways to kind of accomplish it, unless it's, traditional removal and replacement. That is not something that we do. What's also great about our company with the preparation process is we have a patented bonding agent.
Okay.
That bonding agent is exclusive to our company, and it's what allows the coatings to adhere to the surface. So once that gets applied, we then do our spray-on application of primer and polyurethane acrylic coating.
Okay. And then as far as finishes around the tub, do you get into that as well? Because obviously if you have to remove the drain to be able to,
So we're not certified plumbers.
Right.
So we don't do anything with fixtures, removing them, replacing them.
Okay.
So there's a couple ways to go about it. If a customer is saying, I want to get new fixtures, we can mask off the fixtures that are there, work around it, and then just, let them know, make sure the new fixtures that you're getting are the same size when you replace it. If not, it would be a service charge for us, but most of the time I say, we'll come out and just, fill those.
Touch it up. So they can be touched up.
They can
worst case.
Worst case, they can be touched up.
Okay.
The other option is if they know that they're getting new fixtures, they can have a plumber remove them, keep the drain nearby, because we do use the water for the cleaning process. And that way it's working with a clean slate, and then they can put the new fixtures on upon the completion of the 24-hour cure period.
Okay.
The last option is they can put the new fixtures on and we'll mask them.
Okay. Very good. And so talking about everything, we went over, the process and everything that goes into it. If someone's getting a quote, chances are they're going to be speaking to a few different people. When you talk about the product, and you said yours is a water-based product, obviously, it's eco-friendly and all of the qualities that makes your product sustainable and last longer. What do other companies use that people should look out for? Are there certain terms that people should know, like red flag?
So a lot of people use epoxy, which is outdated. A lot of companies may do acid etching, which is harmful to the environment. So if you hear that, that's kind of a red flag. Don't do it. Another thing to kind of keep in mind is ask about the warranty.
Okay.
And ask what comes with it, the length of it. Is there anything hidden within that warranty? And read it. We provide our customers, once they get their estimate, our warranty is attached to it.
Okay.
I encourage everybody to read it.
What should a warranty look like?
So
a quality warranty.
A quality warranty. So I'll speak to our warranty.
Yeah.
It's broken down from residential to rental and then different types of surfaces.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, our commercial and rental is a 1-year warranty on all surfaces. Covers product and workmanship. The reason, which we do get asked this a lot with rental properties, why is it a 1 year? We don't know how the tenant per se is going to care for that surface. So It's very similar to, a landlord taking a security deposit. You do that because if there's damage, then you can retain some of that money. So it's a very similar idea with having that 1-year warranty. For residential, it comes with a 5-year warranty covering workmanship and product, and that is for the bathtub, showers, walls, tile walls, as well as kitchen countertops.
Okay.
Now, sinks, vanities, and floors come with a 1-year warranty. Another option that we have is converting a bathtub into a walk-in with clean cut step. So we cut into the side of the tub. You don't need a permit for it. You cut into the side of it, and then you insert the step. So that way, that's fairly popular. We did a project.
I did not know that you could do that.
Yeah. And we did a project in February of 2022 for Pembroke Pines. We did about 190 easy steps in 8 days.
Wow.
For them. So it's a great solution if you don't want to tear out your bathtub, but you need that, extra layer of protection when getting in and out. So that's another service that we offer, and that comes with a 1-year warranty on the installation only.
And so once you install it, do you also refinish the whole area so that way it's a consistent surface, or you don't need to do that?
You don't need to do that.
Oh, wow.
There are some customers that, let's install the step, and then I want you to refinish my tub. I want you to add the non-slip. I want you to do some grab bars. And then there's others that say, you know what, I just really need that step. Some customers are like, oh, my mom's getting out of the hospital. I really need to have it by this date. And we do our best to accommodate it. And the great thing with that is it takes 2 to 4 hours to install.
Oh, wow. That's quick. I mean, hence you were able to do as many as you did in 8
Absolutely.
days.
Absolutely.
That's incredible. And again, like when we're talking to different professionals, if someone's getting quotes, are there other factors that people should know to ask? Like what questions are most important other than obviously the product, what they're using, what their warranty looks like? Are there other questions that people should know about?
Absolutely. Are you licensed and insured?
Important.
That's very important.
Yes.
That's one of the first questions I ask as a consumer. I also want to know, am I getting employees directly of your company? So there are some refinishing companies that kind of act as a broker.
Okay.
And then they have like subcontractors come and do your job. We don't. All of our technicians are trained in the Miracle Method way, and they're Miracle Method employees. And that's something that I, take stock in and is very valuable and something that I want, okay, the estimator came out from Miracle Method. Now I know the technician is coming out from Miracle Method, not subcontracted.
Okay.
So for me, those are very important questions to ask in addition to kind of the products that they're, using and the warranty.
Yeah, because I mean, that's a way for you to control the product that's really being used, because there might be other companies where, yes, this is what we're quoting. And then all of a sudden a different installer shows up and it's a different product. And
are they doing something different within the process?
Right.
All of our technicians are doing the same process to get the same end result.
So does Miracle Method, do they have like some type of continuing education process of updates? Because I'm sure like obviously every industry evolves. Does it change within your industry? Is there?
So every year, owners are required to go to the national convention where they do continuing education and they have workshops. Throughout the year, we also have technical workshops that we're able to send technicians to. So we do offer that for our techs. We also do in-house training. My brother-in-law has been refinishing since he's been out of the womb. So he actually does a lot of field testing for our coating company when they have new products. They call upon him and he'll work with it in the shop and let them know, hey, this is working, or I think it needs more of this, so they can go back and tweak their chemistry process. So he does a lot of training as well for all of our entire, we call it the Gladhill network. I was
going to say, like, you guys must be the most established ownership group in the Miracle Method family of brand. Like,
we are one of
must be. You guys have been here for a while.
We have been. We are one of the more successful Miracle Method franchises. And I attribute a lot of that to how we treat our employees.
Right.
They're not our employees, they're our family. And that's how we approach every location that we have. Like, you're our family. We're going to treat you right. We want to make sure you're okay. And how do we set you up for success?
Absolutely. Because, and that's the thing, like, giving the tools, having the training, having the brand that's really stands behind everything you guys do, you guys being in it for so long, because, there's a lot of great new businesses out there, but longevity says a lot.
Absolutely. It does. And there are times that when I am speaking to customers, they'll ask that question, how long have you been in business?
Right.
And I always, present it as, we've been in business since 2007, and we have 6 locations, across the East Coast. So you're in good hands. This might be a younger location for us. However, we're coming with the experience and providing them, with the tools and what we've learned, setting them up. So I always try to reassure customers, especially when they ask that question.
So it's safe to say it's not your first bathtub.
No.
That's great. Obviously, you guys have been a part of our shows basically since you broke into this market. In your other, regions, your other markets that you're a part of, do you participate in home shows? Do you have other forms of marketing that you guys really?
We do. In our Maryland market, we do 1 to 2 a year.
Okay.
We just did one in April in our DC market. We're looking to expand in Connecticut. That is a newer location for us. We just opened in January. And
congratulations.
Thank you. The previous owner, she stayed on, and she's our estimator and kind of helps us, with inventory and just taking care of things. So that's a market that we would like to break into the home show market. But I would say of all of our home shows, we've had the most success down here.
I like it. I like hearing that.
So.
Well, no, it's amazing having you because, as far as our shows, our business is 100%. It's about our exhibitors. It's about who's there. That's what makes an event special, because, you can fill it with whatever you want. But at the end of the day, keeping the integrity, making sure the right businesses are there, make sure there's a variety of businesses, solutions. But people come to ask questions, to meet experts, actual experts. They're not just looking to meet somebody that's handing out a flyer and then you're going to get a call from someone else. You're there to answer questions.
Absolutely. And that's why, we try to make sure we have a healthy mix. I mean, at one time you can see our estimator, Marius there, our office manager,
Right.
Ashley, and our master technician, Phil. This year I'll be coming probably Saturday and Sunday. So come see me.
We're excited. And it's September 1st to the 4th.
That's right.
Right at the convention center. This is going to be, actually, this will be airing right before the show. So that'll be exciting. It'll be a great lead into the show. But, if people are looking for, if you're listening to this and you own a home, have rental properties, whatever it might be, you might be talking to a friend that is looking for a better solution. Think about the refinishing, because it's going to save money no matter how you look at it. You're going to avoid headaches. You're not going to have to open up the walls. You're not going to have any of the permit issues and having to go through the process. But time is money.
Time is money.
That's so important. And taking everything that you've shared with us today, I can't thank you enough. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you wanted to elaborate further or bring up?
I don't think so, but if you call and you get me on the phone, make sure you say you listen to this podcast. I would love to know that. And I just look forward to meeting everybody at the upcoming home show.
Absolutely. And to contact you, what's the best way?
The best way to contact us is you can give us a call. I can write down the number, 954-693-6006. You can check us out online. If you Google Miracle Method of Miami North, it'll come up. You'll also see our 5-star reviews on there. I think another thing that's really important in the fact-finding mission of your projects that you're doing, check the reviews.
Absolutely.
Check your reviews. So you can check out our reviews there. We're also on Facebook, and we just started an Instagram, but I'm not 100% sure if that is up and running, but the Facebook definitely is. Again, you can do Miracle Method of Miami North, and you'll find us.
One last question. Everyone has a story. Is there a project that stands out that in any of your locations that you've gone into that presented not necessarily problems, but challenges that really you guys had to think about?
It's not actually with the refinishing or the actual work itself. It was photos that we received.
Oh, wow.
And there was a mirror. And we could see what was on the other side of the mirror and said, that might be an awkward work situation.
That's interesting. So there's, especially when you're stepping into people's bathrooms or homes, you never know what you're going to walk into.
No. And I'll say that I experienced more outrageous things my time in law enforcement.
Oh, I'm sure. Absolutely.
Than in the refinishing field. So it takes a lot to shock me.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, I can't thank you enough for being here today. For everyone, make sure that you check out Jaime and her team, miraclemethod.com/Miami North. Make sure you check them out there. Visit them at the Home Design and Remodeling shows. You guys are a consistent exhibitor within our events, but the upcoming show, September 1st through the 4th, we have hundreds of experts, thousands of products and services, all waiting to inspire and connect with you guys. So again, Jaime, thank you so much. And for all of you listening, we are Florida's premier destination for everything home design and home improvement. Visit all of our home shows in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Palm Beach. Check us out on our website, homeshows.com. And until next time, make sure you follow us on Instagram at FL Home Shows, but subscribe to our channel, get all the latest in home design and home improvement. But stay tuned for the next episode.